Hello everybody, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. This video will cover United States coinage, half cents, large cents, small cents, the short-lived 2-cent piece, both types of 3-cent pieces, and the 20-cent piece. Basically a variety of oddball denominations and sizes and coins that you won't see in everyday circulation. Starting off, we have an 1804 half cent. This design is called the draped bust. It's one of the earlier coins that the US government made. You'll notice the fraction on the bottom of the coin that says 1 over 200, meaning that it would take 200 of these to make $1. After that design, the government came up with this design. This is called the classic head. This is a really pretty coin. It's also a half cent piece. Happens to be in 1832. It's in pretty decent shape. Probably a strong VF, if not a weak extra fine. You'll notice they dropped the fraction on this year. These are made out of copper, by the way, and they're about the size of a quarter. I don't have the third type. I'm going to show you again that second type. This one's what we call a slabbed or certified coin. This happens to be slabbed by NGC, and it is a 63 brown, MS 63 brown. I will cover grading in another video, hopefully. Now we're going to move to the large cents. I'm missing one half cent piece. I had one example and I sold it, and I'm looking to upgrade, so here's a large cent. Now this is a little bit smaller than about the size of a half dollar. If any of you have seen a Kennedy half dollar, that's about what the size of this is. They're called large cents. Back when they made these, the government was really big on producing a coin that contained the intrinsic value of the metal. An easier way to say that was this had 1 cent worth of copper in it when it was produced. That's why it's so big. This one happens to be from 1807. It's very porous. You could see the holes in the fields in the planchet. It's a very porous coin. Again, not a very high grade coin, but interesting and pretty affordable in this condition. The next year, or the next design that they produced, was this one. This again is the classic head. And this one is really, really in poor shape. So, I don't have a single nice large cent in my collection. The design after that followed, this is an 1838. Again, these are all the same size. They're all about the size of a half dollar. The large cent was discontinued after 1857 because of rising copper costs. The government had to figure out a way. Here's the final design of the large cent. This happens to be in 1852. The government can no longer put a piece out of this size that would equal 1 cent if they made it from copper, so they experimented, and in 1856 they produced a small cent. And here's the very first small cent that the government came up with. This is a very popular design, however it was very short-lived. In 1856 they produced what a lot of people regard as special strike, where it wasn't a very large strike, a small amount of pieces. And 1857 and 58 they made regular good-sized mintages. This happens to be in 1858, large letters. Again, this is a slabbed coin. This is an AU58. It's hard to find any wear on this coin. And then after the 3 years of the Flying Eagle cent, they came up with what you guys are probably pretty familiar with. This is an Indian head cent. Okay, now this is a very thick Indian head cent. This was their first attempt at Indian head cents. That Flying Eagle cent that I showed you previously is also as thick as this one. So they're about 1.5 times thicker than your standard cent today. So then they changed the thickness and the composition of the coin. That was copper nickel. They turned to like a copper alloy that didn't have nickel in it. It's like a brass or a bronze. I think it's bronze. This is an 1806. This is a pretty high grade as far as Indian head cents goes. It's a neat coin. And you guys all know what Lincolns are. This is called a steely. This is a Lincoln cent made of steel. It was made in 1943, and they made this because of the war, World War II. Copper was needed for the war effort. Steel was readily available, so they made cents for 1 year out of steel. There are about a dozen or so known specimens of the 1943 cent that were made in copper. They're very valuable coins. However, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of other coins that are steelies that are just copper plated. If you think you have a real one, put a magnet to it. If it doesn't stick, give me a call. Next we have a very odd denomination. This is a 2-cent piece. This is in 1865. And 2-cent pieces didn't last too long. Not very many years at all. I don't have the information in front of me, and I don't pretend to know everything there is to know about coins. But this is a nice example. This is an MS-64 brown. And it's pretty cool if you want to tell your friends, I want to get my 2 cents in. Next we're going to have a 3-cent. This is a copper nickel composition. This is an actual 3-cent piece from 1865, just after the Civil War. This one happens to grade an MS-64, which is a very acceptable and fine grade to have. Here's the reverse. You'll just see the 3 Roman numerals to denote the denomination. This is made exactly of the same alloy that your standard nickel today is made. It's 75% copper and 25% nickel. Now, running concurrently with that, meaning that they came out at the same time, they didn't come out at the same time, but they ran together during much of the same time, is a 3-cent silver piece. This is an 1852. Now this one's much smaller than the other one. I'm going to put the other one up for comparison's sake. It's hard to get this camera to focus. The 3-cent silver piece is a lot smaller and a lot thinner than a 3-cent nickel. Again, it had 3 cents worth of silver, whereas the other one had 3 cents worth of copper and nickel. So it's kind of odd that they would have 2 different coins of the same denomination running together. But they did. This is an MS-64. And finally, in our oddball denominations, this is a 20-cent piece. These are very short-lived also. They resemble the quarter too much. This happens to be a PCGS AU50, which is very, very acceptable collector grade. They get quite pricey when you get in higher grades. This is a beautiful reverse. You can only find this reverse on 2 coins. The 20-cent piece, which is what I'm showing you, and also on a trade dollar, which we'll get to later in another video. But the speculation was that this particular coin was minted. There's several theories, but one of them, which I buy into, is that when the Comstock silver lode was discovered in Nevada, the legislators were lobbied by the silver miners to produce an unneeded coin, and this is basically it, just so they can consume the silver that they were producing to keep the prices stable. And that also happened again with the Morgan dollar. So, thank you very much. Bye bye.